Hey everyone, Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. Before you spend 5 months doing Pimsleur Spanish, you need to hear this. In 2023, I completed all 5 levels. That's 150 lessons. At 30 minutes a day, exactly how they recommended using it, that's about 5 straight months of daily study. So, the question isn't what Pimsleur is, the question is, after 5 months, is it enough? I'm not here to demo the app or walk you through the interface. I finished it, all 5 levels. And I want to answer one simple question. Should you use it as a serious path towards Spanish? First, what does it do well? Pimsleur forces you to respond out loud. You're not passively listening. You hear a prompt, you pause, and you answer. That's real output. If you've never heard Spanish before, this exposure matters. You're getting comfortable forming sounds. You're hearing native pronunciation. And because you're closely mimicking a model, you'll often sound pretty good. So when they say you can speak from day one, that's not completely false. You will say Spanish. But here's the distinction that matters. Reproducing Spanish is not the same as generating Spanish. Every lesson starts with a short dialogue. Then the next 25 to 28 minutes are spent reconstructing pieces of that same conversation. You substitute words, you change small elements, but you stay inside the boundaries of that original script. That builds controlled recall. It does not build structural command. After 5 months of daily Pimsleur, I could respond accurately to the prompts I had practiced. But if you had asked me to confidently explain verb systems, manipulate tenses, or build sentences outside of their narrow patterns, I didn't have deep clarity. I had familiarity. I didn't have ownership. Now, this is where the comparison becomes important. In my system, I don't just recommend the physical copy of Complete Spanish Step by Step. I recommend using the audiobook alongside it. And this changes the equation. The audiobook version does something very similar to Pimsleur, but inside a full grammatical framework. You hear the explanation in English, you hear the structure broken down, you're prompted to pause and say the Spanish out loud, and then a native Spanish speaker, in this case a Cuban, models the pronunciation clearly. So you're getting structural explanation, forced output, native pronunciation, and complete visibility into how the system works. With Pimsleur, you're often repeating without fully seeing the architecture underneath. With Complete Spanish Step by Step, plus the audiobook, you're repeating while understanding exactly why the sentence works. It's guided output layered on top of structural clarity. That difference compounds over time. If you're deciding between listening to Pimsleur for 5 months or spending that same 5 months working through, say, Complete Spanish Step by Step with the audiobook reinforcing your output, I would choose the latter. Not because Pimsleur is useless, but because structure precedes expansion. If you understand the machine, repetition strengthens something solid. If you don't understand the machine, repetition could plateau. And that's exactly what happened to me. If Pimsleur had been sufficient, my journey would have ended there, but it didn't. It wasn't until I systematically worked through Complete Spanish Step by Step, reading every chapter, doing every exercise, recycling the material, and using the audiobook to force output, that Spanish began to feel predictable instead of fragile. Once you understand verb systems, agreement, tense patterns, once you understand the architecture, building your own sentences becomes logical instead of stressful. Pimsleur helps you echo Spanish convincingly, but within a narrow band. A structured grammar system reinforced with guided audio output helps you build beyond the script. Now, can you use Pimsleur as a pronunciation supplement? Sure. If it keeps you consistent and you enjoy it, that's not nothing. Sustainability matters. But if you're looking for long-term functional independence in Spanish, I would not rely on it as the foundation. Input alone is insufficient. Guided repetition without structural understanding has limits. You don't know what you can't yet recognize. And if you don't understand what's happening grammatically, you won't recognize what's missing until you plateau. So, should you use Pimsleur? If you want structured pronunciation practice at the beginning, it can help. If you want to build the language in a way that transfers across contexts, I would invest those 5 months differently. So, that's my opinion. If this video breakdown helped you think more clearly about your study decision, then be sure to give this video a like. It tells me that these structural comparisons are useful. But now, here's the question I'll leave you with. Do you want to build the language, or do you want to get better at repeating it? Until the next video, good luck on your journey to building more usable functional Spanish. Peace.